if you try to identify where the logical mistake happens with most politics, I believe outside of corruption, I believe that confusing the line between results and intentions is where we fail the hardest. And what do I mean by this? People put intentions as a more important thing than results. So they say, hey, my intentions were to do good, and that's more important than the results. And this is a logical mistake, a big one, an easy one to fall into, one that I've fallen into before, one we all fallen into, right? And there's so many examples of this, right? The intentions of going to war, let's say, pick a country, Iraq, but the results of millions of people dead, innocent people, people that had nothing to do with anything, that was the actual results, right? Or you could say the war on drugs, the intention was to make less overdose. That didn't happen. More overdoses happened. That was the results. And then the results were so much worse. We have drug cartels and super violent entities that corrupt governments and billions of dollars of drug money and so much violent death around the black market sale of drugs. Like, the results were so much worse than the intentions there, and we just ignored it. Or look at COVID. Look at the whole entire thing that happened with COVID. We based everything on intentions. We said, these are our intentions, and we didn't look at the results. And where did we end up? We ended up with a whole bunch of mistakes, a lot of more suffering than it had to be, like a lot more suffering. There didn't have to be that much suffering if we would have used results as our logical anchor instead of using intentions as our logical anchor. And there's more that are coming. I mean, look at all the green laws. I'm 100% for fixing the environment, 100% for it. Like, I want to have an amazing environment to live in, but that shouldn't come at the expense of millions of people starving to death, right? Or that shouldn't come at the expense of massive amounts of inflation, or it shouldn't come at the expense of having to turn over a whole bunch of freedoms to a tyrannical government. That's too expensive. The risks there are too high, right? We need to look at, how do we get to results we want, which is a better environment, but how do we do it without taking ways that are actually harming us? Like, look at the results. Put results first. If we change anything in our mindset that can help us right now, it's be results driven. Everyone. Like, let's be results driven and not intention driven. We can have good intentions, which are always subjective. We can have good intentions, but what matters the most is results.